Good idea. It's the Morning Joe to your Morning Joe. It's the blue collar to your blue collar. It's the lab coat to your scientists. Speaking of scientists, y'all want to learn something today?
Excellent. Is everyone recording? Yeah, you?
Yes, indeed.
Excellent.
Live from several different states across the country.
At least 3 of them. We're all here.
Yeah, 4 of us.
We got
3 different states.
all 3 states.
All three.
represented.
All 3 states. Solid, liquid,
Gas.
dark.
Couldn't remember that third one, huh?
No, sorry, not dark. Just not dark. Gas. What?
I call gas.
Can I be plasma?
Gas.
Tag yourself. I'm plasma.
Jeff
Oh, we
called it first.
Called
Sorry,
it at the same
George.
time. That was like simultaneous. Let's rock paper scissors
Oh,
it.
see, I heard Jeff's much further ahead from. So the lag that tells me that the lag. But no, that means George. If Jeff heard it at the same time as he said it, then my lag is just not as connected to George as it is to Jeff.
Well,
I was giving George the benefit of the doubt.
I heard Jeff say it a long time before Jeff.
Oh,
I heard
okay.
Jeff say it a long time before I heard George
I
say
have
it.
a crazy
Blah.
idea.
Okay.
I have a crazy idea, everybody. Instead
You
of rock,
usually
paper,
do.
scissors, liquid, solid gas.
All right, that's really good. And then plasma is gun.
Yeah. That's the
Or-
regulator.
Gorilla
Or-
Man gun.
Or what was that, G?
Gorilla Man gun. Have y'all never played that?
No, I don't know
No.
what that is. Say more.
Gorilla beats the man beats the gun beats gorilla. If you tie, you die.
The idea
Oh,
of
I
man
like that.
beating
Did this
gun.
come out before or after Harambe?
Before, I used to play it at my church when we were little. It was fun. It was more fun than playing rock paper scissors because you stood back to back, and you said you would chant "Gorilla beats the man beats the gun beats gorilla. If you tie, you die." And you'd chant that twice, and then you'd say
And
one,
then you'd go,
2,
"We're
3,"
at church.
and you'd turn
and then
around.
you'd turn around.
You'd turn around and you'd either be the man, like the man, whatever, or the gorilla or the gun. And if you were both one of those things, then you were out. And if you won, then you had to go find a new partner, and the last person standing won.
Question.
it's kind of
Okay.
like
what if
guns.
someone pulled out a cross?
It's fun.
George, what were you going to say?
What
was that?
What if someone
Sorry?
pulled out a crucifix?
It was not a Catholic church, so that wasn't a worry.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah, that holds no power.
Vampire
I
church.
was Southern
yes.
Baptist, so that holds no power in our church.
Yeah.
Jeff wrote down vampire church, so that's good.
Yeah, I was
That's in
thinking,
the
what
group
is
chat
the
now.
one kind of
Church.
church where they get mad at you if you pulled out a crucifix?
The vampire church.
Yeah, that's the origin of that weird goof.
I really like the idea that rather than vampires like being scared of the crucifix or whatever, them just being like the diametrically opposed religion to Christianity or Catholicism specifically.
Mm-hmm.
You think? So I
Yeah.
when you said that, I got this image in my head of like a gigantic infinite wall. An infinite wall. I actually have a fun little bit about that I wrote in as like a pastiche of Terry Pratchett that was like, "Welcome to the wall indefinite. The only things we know about it is that it is definitely not a wall and definitely not a wall." Like something. It's like something like that, and then it keeps going.
Schrodinger's wall.
Something, yeah, it's Schrodinger's. So as soon as you observe it, it is not. Yeah, that's Donald Trump's whole thing. He talks about the wall, but it never shows up.
Whoa.
But he's gonna build it. He's gonna build it, you guys. He's gonna build it, and it's there, and he's gonna build it, and it's gonna protect everyone. And since he's president, all of the immigration stopped forever.
Why
And we're all
don't
safe now
Why
Right.
don't we
because
just
he built a big wall that he really built.
Why don't we just copy and paste like fragments of one wall?
I don't know, but wait, hold on. Before we get to that, George, I'm so sorry. I don't know why we don't do that. Maybe that's the answer to this question, but I need to punctuate the image. So I thought of my wall indefinite bit, and then I imagined the Schrodinger's wall, the wall indefinite, whatever. But then there's just a hole, like the Cartoon Network show Hole in the Wall, and it's in the shape of a cross. So it's everything except for the cross symbol is what they are. They are everything else. And they just go off in every other direction. But because it's only one religion, one plane of reality, one plane of understanding, it's a wall, and it's not like a whole infinite space. What was that? Well, it is an infinite space, but it's not.
You know what that
infinite
reminds me of?
What?
My mother's cross wall. If you're from Texas or anywhere in the South and you were raised Southern Baptist, your mother somewhere in her house has a cross wall, and it's just like a wall, at least, if not an entire room full of just different types of crosses.
Okay, is this just the Southern equivalent?
It's a little imposing.
Is this just the Southern equivalent of like every Mexican lady having a shrine of Our Lady Guadalupe?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It sounds
but
like
vampire.
It's not,
obsessive.
Yes, it is this. Yes, it's the southern white. It's the southern like white version of that.
Okay, so southern
Which is
white
crazy
vampire
like,
lady
we ain't.
just has teeth all over their wall.
Do they glow in the dark?
See. Oh, I love
This
that.
is my blood wall.
Oh, I like that.
Do you
This
like
is my
it, Karen?
wall. This is my wall. It's a wall, and I've copy pasted a bunch of walls all over it because my religion symbol is a wall with a hole, with one hole in it in the shape of a cross. Welcome to the wall indefinite. It might be a wall, it might not be a wall, but all we know is it definitely isn't not a wall. And those are the facts. Because there's too many walls that have been copy pasted here for this to be a wall, but it isn't not a wall.
So
It's more like when you're acting, you're not Hamlet.
So I'm not
was that,
really
Jeff?
religious per se, but I am pretty spiritual. So I've got a wall of, wall-ish type things. Like the sides of
Jeff has
houses.
a wall of wall adjacent things.
Wall adjacent.
Jeff, I'd love to hear about these wall adjacent things. Describe some of them for me, please.
Well, there's a huge picture of Paul Wall. There's
Paul Wall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that's because if it was the Christian religion, no, this would be Saul Wall. Then if it was the Southern white vampire lady, it would be Saul Wall. Sorry, keep going. I thought of that, and then I interrupted.
So
you.
The outside of a house normally you think of as a side. That'd be a wall. What else? Like a really flat-faced person? Question mark.
Like the painting behind you? Like the painting behind you?
Like the painting behind you, like maybe like a fence, like someone that if the police are going to find out about your operation, they're not going to find out about you.
Okay.
Are sliding doors wall adjacent?
Indeed.
If there's
sliding
a bunch
doors
of them
are
next
definitely
to each other.
wall adjacent, especially if they're built
Right?
into a wall.
Right.
Like
Wait,
if
what
there's
about,
75 of them
Like
in
a regular
line.
door's not because it swings, but a sliding door turns into a wall.
What about a shelf?
Okay, you'd have to have lots of shelves.
That is a horizontal wall.
Yeah. Lots of shelves. Yeah, so my
horizontal
wall is mostly shelves. With tinier shelves on them, so it's kind of like fractal. Never ending.
We've got walls in the halls.
Hey, should we clap or did we already do that?
Oh crap, we didn't clap.
We did
We
not
should
do
clap. We should clap. We should clap. This is good idea. We should clap. Okay, we're gonna clap, and then I'm gonna sing all about my wall of walls, my hall of walls, my
Jesus.
wall of doors, my wall of crosses, and my shrine dedicated to everything I believe in. 3, and you guys are all going to help, because you also have shrines dedicated to everything you believe in, walls of halls, halls of walls, and indefinite things. 3, 2,
Wall.
1.
I said wall.
Did everyone feel like that was on
God.
time?
Let's try it again, but make sure to
What?
say wall instead of 1.
3, 2, wall. Okay, that'll be fine. I can line that up in some way.
Hello.
Anyway,
Oh, God.
back to where we were. I need to reset my brain. Okay, here we go. Welcome to my wall. I have a lot of walls. Welcome to my wall of walls. Welcome to my hall of walls. It's really hard to get through my hall of walls.
In this hall of walls,
In this hall of walls,
in this hall of walls, you'll find some stalls.
we have so many halls.
You can use the bathroom.
And they all have walls. And in each one, there's several stalls.
No gender ascribed.
Because genders aren't walls.
Not real. Well, it's real, but we made it up.
Point 1. Balls have no walls.
Point
That's
2.
why no
Point
balls
number
are
two.
allowed in wall church.
Are walls genderless? That's the second point.
Third point. Are stalls the midpoint between walls and doors?
Are
I
doors
don't know.
It's like non-binary, but for walls.
I don't know. I don't know.
This whole time,
Welcome to
stalls
my house.
have been non-binary,
I have some walls.
And it wasn't until we had non-binary stalls that the marriage was made. This whole time, stalls have been trying to tell us, put aside these gender differences.
Yes, I'm sure walls are a lot more philosophical than we are. Actually, honestly, probably.
Man, if these walls could talk, I would talk to them. I bet they have so much to say. If these walls could talk, I would talk to them, 'cause they think about me all day. That's who I want to talk to. People who think about me.
I'm gonna be honest, I really thought you were
need
gonna say that's why I want to talk to walls.
objective opinion.
G.
Because
Could you
my
say that
brain
again?
has walls.
I missed G's point.
Oh, I really thought that he was gonna say that he wishes he could talk to walls.
I think I did say that.
He has the gall to talk
you?
to walls.
He has the
know.
gall to talk to wall.
Only
How
walls
dare
of halls,
you.
though.
I don't know. How do I dare? How do I dare? Yes, Jeff?
Question 1. How big does a wall have to be before it's no longer a wall?
Can we introduce ourselves before we answer the question?
That's a great
Like, this will be like a little
idea.
teaser. So how big does a wall have to be before it's no longer a wall? That is a good idea. Good idea is a brain trust your brain can trust. It is also a comedy podcast and a philosophy podcast where we find creative, actionable solutions to our human, real-life problems. I am Aiden Kinsella.
I'm
Jeff Richardson.
I'm a wall. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm George Diaz.
George,
Aiden, hold on.
who
Production
are you
note.
working for?
Can you
Yes.
bring it down a little bit? Not because you're loud, but you seem to be spiking, at least on the Hangout. Are you guys hearing what I'm hearing? Is there like a at the top end? Huh.
No.
Never mind then.
Nada.
It's probably just a quirk of my
Okay, good
shit.
to know. I was about to change my settings. Glad I didn't do that. So yeah, how big does a wall have to be before it is no longer a wall? So the wall indefinite. I mean,
Follow-up question:
we
what
don't know.
are the alternatives?
Well,
Okay,
the
What are the
alternatives.
alternatives?
So now there's
That's
two more
I
questions.
think we have to answer that before we can. What was that, Jeff?
Well, I feel like there's so many questions abounding. Let me just address the first one. If you think about walls as divisions between spaces, in human context, that divides people from people. So a wall would have to be so large that it encompasses the entire Earth so that all the people inside are undivided. You'd have to bring down all the walls that exist, so that'd be a little weird. But
So it would have
So-
to
Be an
remove
outer
once a
wall.
wall is removed from from its human context. Like if a wall falls in a forest and no one is there to be crushed by it, was it a wall in the first place?
Depends on how tall it
That's
was.
the question. Well, no, but I think I guess yeah, but I think Jeff's trying to raise the idea that the platonic ideal of a wall, by definition, separates multiple human consciousnesses.
right. And so if there
Perhaps
was a
within one's own brain.
Here's a
even.
brain teaser for you. Obviously, you could do a gigantic cube around the Earth, but wouldn't it still be a wall if it was a
Obviously.
sphere? Because walls don't
that was what I actually
walls
had
don't
imagined.
necessarily
I think
have to
that,
be
like,
straight, right? Like on the bottom and top.
No, you can have all kinds of walls.
No, they could be curved.
George is a wall.
I think the definition of a wall, though,
George is an
that it has to
amorphous
have an
human being
access
shaped
point.
thing.
Like, is it still a wall if it doesn't have some sort of access point?
That's a
Well,
great question. Think of a really narrow
is-
door that like goes to nowhere. Is that an alcove? Is that a window? It's
That's
not really a wall, right?
And that's not the inmost cave. That's a threshold. I think that's a threshold. If it goes to somewhere, it's a threshold. It's a narrow space between two worlds.
What is the thinnest a wall
You're,
could be?
you're missing a
And-
very important point.
Yes, George, what's up?
Is a curb a wall? Does it count as a wall?
A curb.
Yeah.
Well, it
How
count-
small is it before it's not a wall
Exactly.
anymore?
Is it perceived by? I think that the Jeff, we're talking about this in different ways. You and George, I think, are both talking about very literal physical walls,
Mhm.
and Jeff and I are trying to argue, and I don't think that that's mutually exclusive to what we're saying. But what we're trying to say is that to answer that question, a curb is absolutely a wall if a curb stops is stopping someone in some way. Like if I have a wheelchair, then a curb is a wall.
Check this out, right? Again, to broaden the
Philosophically.
context.
And that's assuming like I can't get my wheelchair over the curb.
So check this out. To a mouse, a wall, say maybe 6 inches tall, is a wall. But to us, that's a curb, right? So like, it has to be relative to the size of the person, right? Like, because if it's low, that's a
To the
fence.
size of the experiencer. To this, because what's up?
I mean, like to a little person, say, like a 5-foot wall may be tall enough to be a wall, but for a 9-foot tall person, 20 feet might be a wall. Do you see what I'm saying?
I think a 5-foot tall wall. There are definitely 9 feet tall people for sure, but also like 20 feet. A 5-foot tall wall. I think, depending on what if that 9-foot tall person can't get over the 5-foot tall wall. What is their physical ability? Because part of like gigantism as an affliction and a human experience is often the experience of poor muscular control. So trying to get over a 5-foot wall, if you are actually a 9-foot tall human being,
if you're a very tall person,
it could be very difficult.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're any more physically robust than a small person, but relative size of structure, curved or otherwise, its wallness decreases as it decreases in height. I feel like we've found a formula.
There's definitely something to that. Like the degree of incline or slope of the curve of something changes whether or not it all has to do with accessibility. I think a wall is anything that stops it. We have to let's I want to head back to that repetition. And I'm going to read something that I found in a book that I just ordered that I wanted to read towards the start of this episode so it could hang in the air because I love it so much. The book is called Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon, and I hope I pronounced that name correctly. It's 10 Things Nobody Told You About Being Creative, and it's a New York Times bestseller, so I'm not original for reading it. Anyway, it's good so far. It's good so far. Where is the thing that I read? It is this. Okay. As the French writer Andre Gide put it, or Gide, or what? Again, I don't know how to pronounce names.
Or
everything that needs to be said. There's an apostrophe. There's an accent over the e in Andre, but not an accent over the e in.
So yeah, it would be Gide or Gide.
Gide or Gide. Andre Gide. Put it, everything that needs to be said has already been said, but since no one was listening, everything must be said again.
I like it.
So this is from the book Steal Like an Artist, and it addresses art in the way that a designer addresses design, where you're looking in between the gaps of existing ideas to fill those gaps. But then it becomes more like just like free thinky about it because it's not like industrial design. Anyway, that I brought that up because of something you said, Jeff. What was it that you said that I brought that up for?
Well,
it was connected to the question you asked.
Walls. I feel like we're finding that walls are relative to the height thing, but you said a really important thing, which was accessibility. And that really
I think
goes
that's
to
what it was. That's what it was that you had said.
Walls between people. There's all kinds of them, and our job should be finding out if they're necessary, bringing them down, maybe even in some cases thickening them. I don't know why that would be.
Well, sometimes I think thickening the walls and then to protect people so a healing process can begin before those people are reunited can be good.
Oh, that's good. Like hospitals.
But ideally, I don't want to output some sort of philosophy where I'm like, I think we should separate people. Like, I don't really believe that at all. None of me believes that, so I don't want to say that. I do think though that you're kind of right. Sometimes that sometimes you have to like thicken a wall before you can tear that wall down, rebuild the wall in a way that it's easier to knock over.
You know what's weird is we live in a country where a whole bunch of people saw the Berlin Wall come down and were like, that was a mistake. We need ours. We need to show them who's boss. Keep up those big walls.
Why did you guys take that thing down? It was so pretty. China has theirs. We are behind in mathematics. We're behind in walls, okay?
They didn't even
Mr.
work
President,
in medieval times. They
G
just
said
threw
something
corpses.
Historically, walls have not worked. On top of that, the wall being built
ladders
in
on
Texas,
top of walls, ladders.
the wall being built in Texas, or supposedly being built in Texas, is being built in Tornado Alley.
Yeah,
And historically, tornado is stronger
It's going
than
to stop the
wall.
tornadoes. It's going to stop the tornadoes, okay? If the wall doesn't stop the tornado, we can nuke the tornado, okay? It's fine.
Didn't Trump think about sending missiles or something to a hurricane?
No, you can't. I that was what I was referencing, but also like I'm gonna be straight up, and I also have had that exact same thought before, and I don't think it's insane. I think he says a lot of dumb shit. I think that is one of the more well thought out ideas.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if he thought it out. Maybe he was just like shoot missile at hurricane.
May I interject?
I thought it through a lot, and I was like, I love this idea.
Mr. President, I understand that you believe it's possible to stop hurricanes by shooting things into them. Why missiles? I mean, rockets work just fine. Helicopter guy throwing things out, that'll work. Crop duster. We have all these technologies already. I think we should just keep using them and changing weather the old-fashioned way.
You think we should just keep using the technologies and changing weather the old-fashioned way through dance and shouting
And prayer?
On the subject of
prayer
walls.
for sure. Thoughts
On the subject of walls, somebody said something interesting about
like Shadow does in American
about
Gods.
if a hurricane hits a wall, hurricane beats wall, kind of like rock paper scissors. I think G said. But this is one of those rare cases.
Yeah, the hurricane is like the gorilla.
This is one of those rare cases in which thickening a wall actually might be a good idea. Now, of course, we don't need that wall in the first place.
Yes.
But, thicken her up. Maybe
We
she fights the
absolutely
tornado.
don't need an anti-hurricane wall.
Anti-hurricane wall.
Okay, but that's the question. So if it's about accessibility, then a wall that separates you from the idea of a hurricane would not be it would be a wall, but the only real wall in that situation, if we're doing it by definition of a wall being something that separates two human consciousnesses, and therefore a wall is literally anything that stops two realities from connecting, whether those two realities are inside one's own head or inside multiple people's heads, whatever. So if a tornado's reality is not a conscious thing, but rather our entire human world is just our existing inside our brains as our brains' perceptions of the things happening around it, then the only wall we're building when we build a wall against a hurricane is a wall that prevents us from knowing if that hurricane happens in the first place. So if a hurricane happens behind a really thick, giant wall, was the wall a real wall, or was the wall inside our heads that separated us from the idea of the hurricane that doesn't really exist because it wasn't observed? I don't know.
Are you okay?
No.
Here's the problem with this whole scenario: is hurricane, tornado, they're just too tall for your conventional wall.
Tornado, go, tornado, use firebolt.
So if we're gonna create a wall to protect us from a hurricane or tornado, Pam or whatever, it's gonna have to be, miles tall. It's too much. We need to learn how to live with tornado, communicate, maybe find common ground. That's a tornado
We're going
joke.
to learn
Whatever.
to live with the tornado, okay? We're going to learn to communicate with the tornado. I've already begun my talks with it. It's very reasonable, okay? We're all going to find a common ground with the tornado, and then once we do, the tornado is just simply going to sweep all of us up into heaven, is what it told me. So we'll be fine. We just have to end up on a common ground with the tornado, okay? Okay.
Does nobody see a problem with
Okay,
this?
but what about domes? We're missing out on domes.
Okay, if
We
walls
are missing
separate
out on
people,
we
if
talked about
walls
domes
separate
earlier,
people,
right? The idea of
domes
building a big
are even worse. You can't even fly over them.
What do you can't fly over a dome? You can't you can't like fly over them.
You'd have to either pierce a hole through it to get your plane in, or you'd have to dig under the dome. I understand
Like
it's
a
got
mole
walls, and
man.
that's
Like
cool.
a cartel member.
Sorry?
Dig underground like a cartel member.
What is that?
Mexican
A
drug.
cartel member?
Mexican
Jeff, you don't know what a
drug lord.
cartel member is?
I only heard cartelman, which is funny. Just my internet or whatever.
Fun fact,
Cartelman.
cartel is actually Spanish for poster, so I have no idea why they're called drug posters.
Oh, it's like the Postal Service. but for
Poster
drugs.
in what context?
We can't do Postal Service for drugs, though, because G already brought us... what was it? Like
Unfettered access to drugs,
access.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I ordered drugs in the mail.
Wouldn't that be fucking nice?
Wouldn't that be nice? They'll be here soon. In my brain. They're not real drugs. They're male drugs. Male enhancement drugs. They make the male
As opposed
better.
to female drugs?
As opposed to female drugs. I invented these drugs in my brain. They make males better. I invented these drugs in my brain. They make males better. I don't know why we need them. I don't know why we need them.
So we were talking about female drugs versus male drugs.
And what of them?
No, I'm not sure. Because there are more sexes than male and female. So would those people be able to take both or neither?
We already covered
Anyone
this.
can take any of them.
We already covered this with
the
stalls.
problem is what's it enhancing?
I think the problem is women don't get enough funding for healthcare research, and they also have to pay more money for cosmetics and all this other junk. And well, that's not junk, but important stuff. Feminine hygiene products. So whether or not there are, gender doesn't exist or there's a broad range or whatever, right now there's a discrepancy. And you know who I think can solve this problem? Stalls.
Who?
Stalls.
Stalls can solve it. Stalls can solve it. Hey guys, I'm Stalls. What's up? I'm Stalls. Ask me anything. If these stalls could talk, am I right?
The concept of gender?
Have we moved beyond the concept of gender? Man, I'll tell you, it depends on who you're talking to. A lot of people, in their realities, gender is very prevalent, and we have not moved past the concept of gender. We're still in a historical period inside some people where gender is very, very is all over the place, or even more important than ever before. I see other people come inside me, and they don't seem to care one way or the other.
They do what? They do what?
Other people come inside me, and they don't seem to care one way or the other about gender.
Can you say that? Can you say that one more time?
Well, some people, they come inside me and they're clearly they're living in a historical period where the gender is very prevalent to them. Other people come inside me and they don't seem to care about gender at all. It doesn't seem to be a big part of the reality.
Brian, 17 people came inside me yesterday. 17. Can you believe it?
Sorry. I'm sorry. What was that? I couldn't hear you.
17 people came inside me yesterday.
I really could. Some of us just flushed the toilet. I'm sorry.
Brian, you're not a very good listener.
Talking.
We've been basically married for like 20 years. How many people came inside you yesterday? How many people came inside you?
Yesterday, a whole lot of people came inside me.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yesterday, a whole lot of people came inside me, and I loved it. How about you?
There was that
How
one
many
person
people came inside
who came inside you, and then they left and came inside me. So who gets that one? How do you count? Do we both count that one? Is it a wash?
You both counted.
Oh, hi. Hi, Frank.
Hey, I'm Frank. I'm the largest stall in the room. You know, I've got quite a bit of artwork. Some of it was racist, but then like another person came inside and then they altered the racist thing and now it's a window.
Hey, Frank, I'm sorry that guy went in there and kicked your door off. And now you...
Frank, I'm
I mean,
really
that's
sorry.
kind of like half a wall. And as a stall, I think you do great work. You help people who need help with the bars and everything. And I know you get fewer people that come inside you on a daily basis, and I just think that's not fair. Brian, I don't know if you have thoughts on this.
My name is Stalls. You gotta stop calling me Brian. Okay, ask me anything though. You could have asked me what my name was. I just told you to ask me anything. My name is Stalls. If these stalls could talk, am I right? Hey, just ask me anything. If you could ask a stall anything, what would you ask a stall? There's all 3 stalls in this room, and there's one very pretty person here who doesn't seem to care about gender very much, and that person is here to come inside all of us, and they need to tell each of us what they need to know.
Well, George, I think if they're coming in you, they're going in me. That's different.
See, I get the families because it's got a lot of room. So in case I need to watch over somebody, boom.
Oh
There,
yeah,
they don't
if
gotta
George has
look for a
more
family
children
restroom.
in his room, does that count as more stall usage? Or just because it's just the one visit?
A child is like half an adult. It's halves.
Hey Frank, do you think something
For every
happened to
two
Brian?
kids you get in there, that counts as one person coming inside you. Hey,
I think somebody
That's like having
uninstalled
twins, at
Brian
least.
and put stalls in. This person, it's like they're claiming all.
I'm Stalls. Ask me anything.
This stall is claiming all of the credit, and here we are, Frank, doing our best.
If I had a door, I would have locked my stall a long time ago. That way no one could
I'm
use it.
really digging this character of like the old grumpy ass stall.
I know you're concerned.
Stalls, what's the weirdest thing that's ever come inside you?
I can't say that on TV.
You're not Stalls. I'm Stalls. Ask me anything. Ask me fucking anything. I'm fucking Stalls. You can't call yourself Stalls. You're too grumpy and old.
I asked you, Stalls. God damn it!
Not you. I'm not talking to you. You called the other person Stalls. I'm
fuck.
Stalls, and the other person. You called me Stalls, and the other person answered as Stalls, and I'm not happy about it. I'm Stalls. Ask me anything.
You know what, Frank?
The weirdest thing that's ever come inside me?
Yes.
One time there was like a whole clown
Please,
car
God,
situation
if
with actual clowns.
The car went inside me because that's the only place I could fit it.
That was a hell of a day, Frank. I mean, that was the first time your door got damaged. So, you know.
No.
Yeah, but joke's on them. I ruined one of them ears.
You really did. Boy, that was a day. You know what? I think Brian's door was replaced, and this new door is just
My name is Stalls.
out of control.
You
Completely
could
out
just
of-
ask. You could ask me anything.
These humans are gonna want to come inside us with
Stalls
this
has
one
lost
here.
his goddamn mind.
I clearly have no walls between answering to Brian and answering to stalls. Who am I? What is a stall door? It's like a wall door. It's a door in between two walls. You can call me Brian, you can call me Stalls.
Oh, it is.
Wait a minute, what's my name again? I forgot.
You know what? We are.
You're the old grumpy one.
We don't have to be tied to any identity, really, except.
We
do
don't have to be
walls.
tied to any identity. In my reality at least, there's no identities at all. I'm Stalls, ask me anything. Apparently there's no identities because I'll answer to anything. I'm Stalls, I'll answer to anything. Call me anything.
Ooh, a human just walked in.
Oh my God,
think I'm
she's
in
got
the
a
wrong
fish,
room.
a dead fish. She's brought her child's dead fish all the way here from home. She's too ashamed.
For Christ's sake, Stalls!
She can't flush it there.
You're scaring off the
Oh
humans.
God, don't get in me. Don't get in the stall. There's no door.
I don't know if you guys can see this, but whenever Aiden gets more intense,
His camera
camera
shakes.
starts shaking.
Oh, I wish I had a drum
Hey,
set.
buddy, quit shaking the stalls.
Jesus Christ.
Imagine just hearing this muffled from outside the bathroom door.
No. It's
That
in
happens a
Just
lot.
like-
That happens a lot. I'm Stalls. You can ask me about every time that's happened before. Did I say what the weirdest thing that ever came inside me was? Yeah, I did.
Yeah, clowns.
For me, it was a car.
Several of them at once.
So walls.
Oh boy. That was lovely. That was so fun. It was so fucking
That was
fun.
the worst.
I
was
realized.
pretty
Okay,
fucked
but that was our best musical bit by far. It was not the prettiest one. It wasn't the prettiest one, but it was the best one. That one was really
I
good.
fucking love that calliope ass music.
I received a picture from my mother this week, who sends us prompts for
Oh
this
my
show
God.
regularly.
God.
I know, and she hadn't heard the episode yet. She's not there yet.
Oh no.
But I received just a picture from my mom with no context at like 7 a.m, probably, of two stall doors next to each other with like a label explaining that there was an adjoining door in between the two stalls for the two, so you could explicitly go in and open the door between the two bathrooms in this public space.
Oh,
I think I might have
And I
seen a
thought my mom
variation
was
of this
asking
picture.
And I
for
thought
a
my
fuck
mom was
sesh.
sending, because art
Or like a
fucking life
heroin
imitates art.
party.
So my mom, this is like proof that like that I share DNA with my mother, because that's funny to her and she knew it would be funny to me, and she sent, because we did a
That's
whole bit about
fantastic.
this on my podcast. My mom sends me this picture of this existing in the real world, and she's taken this picture herself. She found it at the Starbucks Reserve in Chicago, like the really big one.
that is hilarious.
So if you're in Chicago, there's and you need to join the 30 points club. I don't know how many points you need to buy a drink at
Adjoining
Starbucks.
bathroom stalls.
Well, because you have to pee all the time in Starbucks, and like Starbucks is also a good date location. So if you're
No.
super caffeinated
You
with your
don't
date,
have to. Jesus Christ, you're right. No, but you don't have to pee all the time in Starbucks. Coffee makes you poop,
that too.
Hey, you know
Hey.
what? If you make that wall
and that's
go
what
away,
we're using as fuel. Remember?
That is what we're using as fuel. Yes. Holy shit. Do you think all the chairs in that? I haven't been to that Starbucks. So you didn't send me pictures, because maybe it's less absurd to see like human beings just kneeling on the ground in a Starbucks. But like maybe that
crap.
Starbucks is that plain.
Starbucks.
It's gonna like fucking blast off.
Aiden.
Chicago's gonna be left in ruins.
Oh my god.
Aiden, you just reminded me of something.
What?
Okay, first off, a little bit of background. All right, so I went to a wisdom teeth consultation, and I had to use the bathroom.
What did they tell you?
Well, I got like 3
Hey, I'm wisdom
blah, blah,
teeth.
blah,
Ask me
blah.
anything.
Hey, buddy, I'm one of the 3 wisdom teeth in George's mouth.
You wouldn't believe what I'm aware of in spiritual senses.
Yeah, I go into this bathroom. I It legit.
I've bitten so many things.
It has legit. It's got sexy mood lighting.
I've
Oh
seen
my
this
God.
before.
It legit
It's
has
wrong.
sexy
Where
mood
is
lighting.
this? Where is this?
It's someplace in Rockford.
Oh, it's at the wisdom teeth consultation?
Yeah.
You're just asking people to fuck
I am
and
your
or do heroin
dentist.
in your stall. Why?
I'm
You
gonna
were
post it in the
mentioning
Slack. I
your
think I still have the
mom.
pictures.
Aiden, you did mention your mom, and she had a great prompt for us today.
She did. Oh my God, it was so good. My mom's a really big supporter of this show, and I'm sorry if you're listening to this and you're a fan that isn't my mom, but my mom's the best, and fuck you. unless you're my dad, in which case you stand on equal playing field.
Very.
Otherwise, I have absolutely no reason to assume that I care about you that much.
That's good.
Man, my parents would hate this show.
Hell yeah.
My parents love this show. I don't know if my dad loves this show. My mom loves this show. I know that. I know my dad supports this show. That I do know. He has other podcasts to listen to, like The Daily Stoic and The Daily Dad and The Daily Podcast.
It's like a roundup of all other podcasts.
I've only met your dad once, but I fucking love him.
He's the best. No, my parents are both great. They're the fact that like my dad doesn't listen to Good Idea as often as my mom does. I know he listens to it sometimes, but like I know my mom listens to it more also. That does not surprise me. Anyway, what's the prompt?
Yeah.
This one comes to us from Kristen. My 6th grade girls basketball team needs to improve their shooting percentage. The traditional quote unquote practice methods don't seem to be working. So I guess the question here is non-traditional basketball
methods
to improve your shooting percentage.
Drugs.
Well, to improve
All right.
my mom's 6th grade girls basketball team percentage. First of all,
I got this.
Can I give some background? G, simmer
Go
on your
for it.
idea for a
Go
second
for
more.
it.
It'll sound even more developed and awesome.
it.
I'm going to give you guys picture because I've been to these games, and by these games I mean I went to one and
Go for it.
it was bad.
Paint this word
Okay,
picture.
it wasn't bad. I was tired. I'm over explaining. So first of all, it's good because all the kids run around in jerseys that I as far as I remember, are just like flipped out versions of each other. So it's very like nondescript, non-specific, which I think is kind of cool because I think teams being able to switch around between each other like that or not being that distinct from each other as like children is probably a good, healthy thing. But then the adults, the coaches, there's usually like multiple of them on each team of children. Oh, I'm thinking of my little brother's basketball team. It's funnier if it's 6th grade girls though, so I'm gonna keep explaining the premise.
Let me
So
drop
there's
this
6th grade girls
science on
running
you.
around.
6th grade is basically the last time you can play in a fair basketball game. Because like from 7th on, it's all about competition, right? You got your own jersey. You want to get your numbers up. So I like that you painted this picture for us of some 6th grade girls. If they play across each other, they switch teams or whatever. They flip their jerseys inside out. You know, like that's good.
Maybe that happens during the game. It's like a strategy thing because they're smart. They're smart. I don't know that. Oh, they're. You know what?
You just
that doesn't
switch to the
happen. I
other
didn't see
side
that
for a
happen.
while
Mom,
and
answer
suck?
number 1. Yeah. Just have your player like pretend to be on the other team. That's a good one. The thing and that's funny too because the last thing I was gonna say, the button on the picture is that I find it extremely humorous that the adults that run around on the court with the kids, with the 6th grade girls in this situation, because the coaches run around because the 6th grade girls can't handle themselves because they all have attention span issues and they're all in like 1st grade. And so the coaches are running around and they're distinguished by their coach outfit. So they have a shirt that says coach on it in big white bold letters on the back, and it's just a blue shirt. And I know that my mom, a woman in her 40s, looks like a 6th grade girl. And and I know that all the other coaches, many of whom are balding men, look like 6th grade girls. But I don't know that it's necessary to distinguish them as coaches because at some point, if there's adults running around on the field next to a bunch of like people who are self-aware at this point, those adults probably are welcome there. And if they're not, there's an audience full of adults that are there with their children that will destroy the adults on the field. So I just find it very funny that the coaches need to invest money in being designated as such by their outfits. But anyway.
Well, already
improve
you've
the
lost
basketball
me
team.
because in my view, the coach is the most important person in the room. They're not allowed to go on the field.
That's the funny. That's what it was that was funny to me about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Keep going, and then I'll get back.
Here's
to
the problem, though. Philosophically, there's a metaphorical wall between the coach and the refs, because the refs are inside the court and the coach is on the outside. Never the twain shall meet, except at the refs table during a dispute. Anyway, I'm kind of getting far afield here. Non-traditional shooting percentage increase. The coach gets on the court. Boom, 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 drops some threes.
Well, the coach has been on the court the whole time. That's what I'm saying. The issue with them being designated as coaches in this way. But that I forgot to mention that part. I didn't forget to mention that part. I did explain that they're all wearing the exact same coach's outfit. And
the coaches.
The teams have
switching.
reversible jerseys, but the coaches. Well, that's the thing though. Is like if the coaches could convince, like the team's outfits are reversible. The coaches' outfits are just the same as each other.
Mm-hmm.
So the coaches could be like on the sidelines. Mom, you need to be on the sidelines with. Like, take my sister's makeup out of her room. She'll get angry. Go to Columbia College. You don't live too far from Chicago. Go to Columbia College, do some stage makeup classes, and disguise yourself as one of the balding men on the other team. And then go out onto the field and provide aggressive direction to the young women you're playing with. Now, this is not going to be like you thought it was going to be to teach them how to play bad or to help them score your team points. This is actually going to be to get the other coach fired in the middle of the game.
So you're going to look just like
the other
him
coach
and
is being
fuck up his
extremely
players.
inappropriate, and this is an adult that should not be yelling at children in this way. The other coach, quote unquote, traditional methods.
Oh, and you
Quote,
go over
unquote,
there,
other
pretend to
coach.
be that person, and then yell at the kids? Is that your suggestion?
Yeah, I'm saying you sit on the sidelines and do your makeup. They won't notice. They're too busy playing basketball and yelling at the sixth graders and trying to relive their glory days. My mom is dressing up while this is happening during the first act of basketball on the side.
First half.
Well, she's doing stage makeup,
Actually,
so it's the only appropriate
half.
way for me to refer. No, act. She's doing stage makeup. So they're all on the stage, the basketball stage. And they're running up and down with the other adults. The kids are all running up and down with the multiple adults on the court that look just like them. And my mom is disguising herself during Act 1. It's very Shakespearean, as if it was like a Shakespearean 2-act play, like you'd see at an IO theater.
This is not well. This is what this is High School Musical 4.
It is. I think
It's
it's kind of a little.
basketball.
Oh my god, you're fucking right.
High School Musical.
You're so right. It's High School Musical 4.
The problem is
But yeah,
playing
anyway, she goes out
basketball on
she
a
goes out
stage
onto the
very
court.
dangerous. You know, you get hip checked and you're like in the stands. You know what I mean? So
Oh, that's bad.
yeah. So there'd have to be walls,
Yeah, but this is
right?
just that I'm just.
It'd have to be
it's-
like
What's up?
hockey and have like plexiglass walls so people don't go flying off the stage.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the walls are thick enough, right? Like that's another situation
Wait,
where you might want
hang
thick
on,
walls. 'cause
Jeff.
These are walls.
What
of
do you
safety.
think the plexiglass in hockey is for?
Is so they
right
don't
on.
either fall out over the low wall or hurt themselves going bang up in
Oh
it
no,
at
they
high
don't
velocity.
give a fuck about the players, Jeff. It's so
Jeff,
the
in
puck
hockey,
doesn't
it's
go
a
flying into
victory
the
if a
audience.
player falls and gets their face cut open by a teammate's or enemy's blade foot.
G is giving me shit
Also, we
because
have
all
foot
they care
weapons
about
in
is
our
protecting
Slack
the
chat,
audience
and
from the
foot
puck.
weapons do exist. It's fucking ice hockey blades.
Can I tell you guys my idea now?
Do it.
Yes,
It's to increase
Knives.
shooting percentage.
Yeah,
knives to increase shooting percentage, deflate the basketball, murder the other players,
G
murder
has-
the other coaches.
No,
All
no,
good.
no. Knives in the ball.
Oh, inside the ball. This is good. Like a secret trap.
No. Like poking out. Poking out of the ball.
Okay, knife poking out of the
So
ball. Like a
They
somewhat
want
secret
it out
trap.
of their hands faster. Right?
So we just get a really huge sea urchin.
Yeah, there you go.
This is good. Wait, so we can go back to that mermaid ball. The mermaids don't even have to use a big metal ball.
Guys, that's
from a
not
few episodes ago.
basketball.
They could just use sea urchins.
It's not basketball. You can't even get the points.
But that's not
through a
basketball. So
basket.
for mermaid basketball, they could use sea urchins.
It literally ruins
Fair.
the structure of the thing you're playing with. And then those spines, you get stuck in the groin. Now you have like medical problems.
Oh, Jeff is right.
Mermaids
Jeff is
can
right.
have
We need to
points.
reinvent the net.
Oh, a point defensive
Mom,
net.
so while you're applying, sorry, what was that?
It's like a net that will reject points, and it'll go through easily.
Oh yeah, because the ball just the net doesn't reject points as much; it just stops points. It's like your ear canal doesn't necessarily hold on to earwax. It just the earwax just stays
Gotcha.
there.
So it's probably made of metal
It's just there.
or fiberglass, and the points go boom, 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 boom down it. My problem is
It
you
could
can't
be like
dribble.
like those jump ropes that are like like ropes, but then they have like plastic chain, like a chain. They're not actually chained together, except for that they're on the same rope, but like plastic macaronis, and so it's kind of looks like a lane line almost.
Yeah.
Something like that. You could use a material like that to make a net that wouldn't get caught. So, Mom, you have to put macaroni noodles over all of the individual parts and parcels of the strings and ropes on each net, and only on the net your team is trying to score on. Actually,
That's the part. You have to violate the rules to make the other. Except you go back and forth. See, this is the problem. You
Jeff,
need
she's
their
disguised
ball
as the other
to
coach.
burst into flames while
she's
they're
disguised as
dribbling
the
it.
other coach, Jeff.
Oh,
Wait, hang on.
G is-
No,
I think
now
G
your
is raising
other
their
option
hand.
here. So
Sorry.
your other option here. Your other option here is whenever the other team is trying to score, is just go Brack every time.
Brick. 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 Brick works every time. Brick. It works every time. You know what else works every time? Sinister Parent Company. Sinister Parent Company is the podcast network that Good Idea is a part of. And Sinister Parent Company also has other podcasts on it, like Shattered Worlds RPG and Straight Off the Top of My Headlines and Something Wonderful Right Away and Everything is Awesome and Brothers in Time, to name a few. You should listen to the other podcasts on the Sinister Parent Company podcast network. Sinister Parent Company, your new family.
This episode is really interesting, too, because it just sort of ends.